Hey, reach and pull those belts tight. One more time, you're watching the original Rebels Racing League.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to tonight's Late Night Rebels at Auto Club, brought to you by Hall Sheet Metal for the Hall Sheet Metal 150. Gonna be a great night tonight. Gonna be a lot of good action. Last week we were at Phoenix where we saw nothing but carnage. So let's see if tonight's gonna be a little bit cleaner for these drivers as we get ready to go out for single car qualifying. A lot of great racing to go here today. A lot of talented drivers out on the track. As you've got Daniel Cunningham, we're watching the 00 put down his single car qualifying. Looks like to be a very, very busy grid here tonight. A lot of racing left to come. Colton Lanford, he's out on track as well. Watch Lanford in the number 25 machine doing a fantastic job. We're going to see what time of laps he can put down. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody that tunes in tonight. Up in the booth tonight, I'm James East, bringing to you live 1080p, 60 frames a second here at the Team Goon Squad Broadcasting Network. Always an absolute pleasure to be in the booth for all of the guys from across the world. Couldn't do it without you guys that tune in every single night, every single week, as we showcase some of the best drivers on the iRacing service. And tonight, again, we're at the original Rebel Racing League. These guys run multiple series all through the night. But tonight, it's all about the Late Night Rebels starting at 11 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday night. And we're expecting to see a lot of good racing. We see Smith put it on top of provisional pole just like that, bumped up by Morrison with a 41.47. Seeing a lot of new drivers out here tonight. A lot more names and faces than we've seen in previous rounds. So the hype starting to build up for this series. And more people getting out there and making it happen. We'll be right back with a short break. And just like that, I'm back. Guys, this has definitely been a night of first all night long between the different broadcasts. We started about 7 p.m. in the booth tonight, and this is the second broadcast of the night. But we just got a phone call from league admin Brett Ritter saying, hey, there's something wrong with this session setup. It is set as a 1X, gets you disqualified. If you're new to iRacing or have no idea what I'm rambling about up here in the booth, basically iRacing assigns penalty points for any incident you have. You can get a 0X for very light car-to-car contact. An example of that would be a little bit of bump drafting down the straights here at Auto Club. You can receive a 2X for loss of control or an off-track incident. I believe both of those are fairly easy to understand where we're coming from on that one. And then finally, you can receive a 4X if you have a hard car-to-car contact or in some cases a car-to-wall contact. So basically, what I'm saying is, in layman terms, is it's very, very easy to get these penalty points over a long night of racing. And right now it said if you get a single incident point, not 0, not a 4X, not a 2X, but 1, which I believe is actually impossible to do on iRacing. It's either a 0X or a 2X. You will get disqualified from the entire session. So what the league admins are doing right now for the Late Night Rebels Racing Group is setting up a new session to get everything dialed in and fixed so they can go back out there and race hard. So let's see what the admins have going on. But again, I'd like to thank Hall Sheet Metal for coming on board for this season as to sponsor some of the races and the broadcast. Also, Magic Mike Motorsports with Mike Aribe. They're coming in to help out everything, get these racers out there. This is a free-to-enter series on the iRacing service. So no money involved for any of the racers. You can get back out there and have a great time and race among, it's been a late night, folks, some great drivers on the service. So check them out, Original Rebels Racing League. And we're bringing the action every Tuesday night here at the Team Goon Squad Broadcasting Channel. As really these guys can get another session figured out, dialed in, and get back out there racing. We'll try and get you an ETA for when we're going to get back out there and get qualifying started. Usually takes about 5 minutes or so. We're going to wait for Redder to get that session up. Still going to be an exciting night tonight. These guys usually fire off at 11 p.m. with single car qualifying. And unfortunately, just not having the best of luck tonight. We've seen with other series from across the world tonight, different sim enthusiasts getting hit with storms from all across the world. Just bad luck here in Georgia. Yesterday, we got hammered by storms, started to affect some of our broadcasts as well. So online sim racing, one of those things that can really affect you whether you want to or not. We do got a little bit of updated points while we're trying to get the next session started. Right now, David Sarwell Cornell running in top spot with points. He's got 1 win so far in this season. He's got 75 points. Second place in the season, you've got Brett Redditor. Kai Schappert runs 3rd place. Brett Grunwald 4th. Alan Warnecki 5th. Jeff Paisley 6th. Michael Smith 7th. It's a 3-way battle here for 7th. As you've got Michael Smith, Josh Thompson, Justin Wilkinson in a 3-way tie for 7th. Then you go all the way back to 10th, where Buddy Barnes starting 10th tonight. 10th in points. So a lot of great racing left to go and a lot of battling still left for that top 5 spots here in the season championship. Lots of racing left to go. Still waiting on Redder to get up that new season for us. Paisley chiming in saying we can just say there's some pavement coming up, so they're getting out there and getting everything corrected. Jeff, thank you as always for tuning in and racing with us out here, man. Always great to see you on and off the track. We just got to get you up in the podium booth a little bit more for me, and you might enjoy the broadcast even more. So Redder working hard behind the scenes. These guys are going to run all the way to November 9th, so still lots of time to get in on the action out here. As our current race shows us getting ready to go green, we know that is not the case as they are setting up that new session for you. I believe I'm the only one in the session right now. So all the guys out there, the series admin of the original Rebel Racing League, doing their best behind the scenes. As sim racing enthusiasts, we've always seen it before where everything that could go wrong always does so at the least opportune time. I mean, be it iRacing rainouts, the red flags we joke about. We've seen the iRacing Pro Series before have their fair share of incidents. The Coca-Cola Series actually at one point had about a third of their field drop out due to a connectivity issue. I believe iRacing said it wasn't a server issue on their end, but who can blame them for saying that? I know I would say that. And then pretty much everybody using Comcast had incidents for the Coca-Cola Series. So that's why it's called racing and not just having a nice, easy day. And we're still waiting for that new session to come up from the original Rebel Racing guys. The pace car, the only car on track right now for the Hall Sheet Metal 150. So still waiting on that new session to come up. In the meantime, we're going to have a lot of fun hanging out together. Thank you for everybody. It's kind of waiting for the action to start. It's been one of those nights for sure, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to be interesting to see who we can get out front tonight once we get fired off. Will be some of the drivers from Arcadia Motorsports. You've got Brett Redder, Brett Grunwald, Jeff Paisley, Ken Farmer all run together. You've got Avengers Motorsports, Jason Rockefeller, Joshua Thompson running together. JBR Motorsports will be here tonight as well. You got Chuck Pegleg Feltz coming out, trying to represent. Steve Loving also representing JBR Motorsports. And you've got a whole lot of other teams that are actually not in the original Rebels Racing Discord. Say that 10 times fast. During their races, these guys will go to their own team Discords and work on a little bit of strategy together instead of being in a different Discord. So we see that as well with the Team Goon Squad drivers. People putting it together, trying to be a little bit behind the scenes. And there we got a word from Race Control that they are getting the session coming up here any moment now. So thank you to Jeff Paisley coming in. Joseph Penn, always a pleasure seeing you out here as well tonight, my friend. Joseph Penn runs in a couple of different series we broadcast, be it road racing or in the either road racing, or we see him sometimes out there in some oval go roundy round races. So always a pleasure seeing him. We've got Miss Lashley Nicholas tuning in as well. She's cheering on Go Avengers Racing, cheering for Rockefeller and Thompson. And then Joseph Penn saying, I've never seen so many cars on track. But hey, man, that's the joy of broadcasting. You make the own action up here in the booth. And let me tell you right now, it is a nail biter. You paid for the whole seat. You're only going to need the edge here at the original Rebel Racing League Late Night Series, sponsored by Hall Sheet Metal 150. Let me go over here to my other screen, give it a little bit of a refresh, see what we got popping up here. And they are still trying to get things sorted out in the back end. And for those that are tuning in, we see Miss Gianna, my apologies if I don't get that right the first time. Blame it on me being Southern and from Georgia, but thank you to everybody that tunes in. Let us know who the favorite driver you're cheering for is. Couldn't do it without the fans at home. You guys give all the attention to your favorite drivers. We definitely try and give everybody as much TV time as they possibly can. Ignore what's going on your screen right now. That's a rare example, but it helps support your favorite drivers. It helps support your sponsors for the late night series here at Original Rebels Racing. And then it helps grow the stream as well. So every time you guys leave a like on a video and share it among your friends, family, really anybody that'll look into it, if you can put it up on your favorite Best Buy and just leave it on TV, that's fine as well. But without you guys, it wouldn't make this so much fun for the drivers and broadcasting team alike. So thank you sincerely to you guys at home that really make this what it is. Couldn't do it without you. We're still waiting on the ping from Brett Redder on when things are going to be live, but expecting lots of good racing. Now, Ryan Williams, he's chiming in, and he says, I'm putting my money on Ryan Williams. Joseph Penn says, I think all the cars failed tech. Yep, everybody's back in the garage getting torn down. And then Doc Proc says, look at that pace car go, that iRacing pace car.
James, you got a copy?
Yeah, we got Brett Redder, league owner here. Brett, we're live. What's up?
Oh, I stole you out of your own channel. Sorry, man. I'll put you back if I can. I got to find that shit. Anyways, hey, we're good to go. I just made it. I'm going to put you back in your channel.
Okie dokie.
Sorry about that, James.
So that's a series owner, Brett Redder, again. A night of first here between all of my broadcasts I've had today. So that was race admin Brett Redder pulling me into a channel. I don't think he realized the mic was live, so now he got his TV time for the night. So even if Redder doesn't make it up to podium, at least he got to impress drivers and viewers across the world tonight with his elegant tongue. So Redder getting things set up. He's the guy, if you're just tuning in, who is fixing all the mistakes, getting people back into the race. And we do see the new session coming up. So let's see what happens here. Joseph Penn saying lap 2. Give it up for lap 2, everyone. He also asked, are the drivers unionizing? Is there a strike? Nah, just a little bit of technical difficulties here on the iRacing platform as they, again, if you're just tuning in, the series admins accidentally set it for a 1x DQ limit, meaning if you even looked at the track wrong, you're probably getting disqualified. So they're getting that fixed very quickly. Jeff Paisley saying session is live, so we'll be right back just in a moment. Give me about 30, 40
James,
seconds, and we'll be back.
Again, dude.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We are back live with the Late Night Rebels at Auto Club for the Hall Sheet Metal 150. They've gotten these server issues dialed in. We're going to get the cars back out there. Just a few more moments of practice to get everybody back in before we get this party started. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting Round 2, I'm James East in the booth, getting ready to get this thing started, as the racing officials had a little bit of problems getting everything dialed in for their drivers, but I think we're looking good. If you're just tuning in wondering what on earth is happening, you're about 30 minutes late. My sincerest apologies. They had the first session set up where if you got any incident points at all, you were disqualified from the event straight to iRacing jail. And if you had in the second session they put up, they doubled the laps. So from 75 laps to 150 laps, all the drivers universally agreed, hey, we don't want to do that. But then they did the third time. A char is the charm, as we've got everybody tuned in tonight cheering on the race cars. Excited to see some race cars out there tonight, as we are watching Josh Oswald in the number 17. A very sharp-looking car out there today, the red, white, and blue. And we've got just under 4.5 minutes left of the open practice, so we're going to try single car qualifying for the final time tonight. If that doesn't work, we're going to pack them up, put them in the garage, and go on home. But looking good so far, as I think that's Redditor on the inside of your screen, the number 7. No, it's Jeff Paisley running the Arcadia Motorsports. Arcadia Motorsports just got picked up by Butt Kicker here lately. So some of the newest drivers for the Butt Kicker brand. Good to see them out there representing their sponsor as well. As Jeff Paisley's going to bring it on in and say, hey, that's enough for me. I'd like to sincerely thank all of you guys that are tuning in, especially for the late night series. I know it's a very late night for all my friends on the East Coast, pushing 11:30 p.m., but always appreciate you guys immensely for tuning in, supporting the broadcast, and supporting me for standing up in the booth all night and trying to make a bunch of great racers look even better. Jeff Paisley put it as one of the fastest laps in practice, a 41.34. Here's Steve Loving with a 41.37. And we've got about 3.2 minutes left, or 3.3, excuse me. So we have somebody asking, did they actually have a one incident limit? No, sir. That was a mistake in the first session. For the first session, they had a very large error where it's just a 1X incident, which everybody involved in iRacing knows is kind of impossible to do an entire race that way. It just takes one little bobble and you can find yourself disqualified. So they realized they had the 1X incident limit in the first lobby session, quickly realized their mistake, set up a second session. And unfortunately, the second session had 150 laps instead of tonight's scheduled 75. So the third time is the charm. They've got the incident points dialed in. They've got the laps dialed in. Now we just got to see, do the drivers have it dialed in? It'll be 75 laps around Auto Club. Last night we were at Phoenix, and it was a bit of a bloodbath here at the original Rebel Racing League Late Night Series. Let's see what tonight holds in for it. If they've got less than 20 cautions tonight, they will have beaten last week's race as far as cautions go. So let's see if the drivers are going to have a little bit more luck on not quite a cookie cutter. It's a 2-mile raceway, so not kind of in that weird line between super speedway and kind of the cookie cutter 1.5 milers we've seen in the past. So maybe able to see some good green flag runs here tonight, or I may have just hit it with the commentator's curse and we'll see nothing but carnage out here tonight. I know as a broadcaster and a fellow iRacing enthusiast, I do prefer seeing good green flag runs. Really shows the on and off track strategy these drivers have. Yeah, last week was 20 cautions at Phoenix. It was a very rough night. As we all know, cautions breed cautions. So the more people that come in on alternate sets of tires, the worse things can get on restarts. And it was probably one of the roughest races these guys have had out here. There was a drivers' meeting afterwards to talk about the driving and the cautions and hoping to see a little bit cleaner green flag runs. But we do have a much bigger field than we've seen in the past here as well for the late night series. We've got about 22 drivers taken to the field. And let's see what all happens. Paisley still on top. It's the fastest car in practice, and the number 7, Jason Rockefeller. You're on screen with him right now, and his number 09 Ford Mustang. Rockefeller's got some of the cleanest paint schemes we've seen out there. Always has a cool Spider-Man or comic book painted Ford Mustang. But we got about 15 seconds left in practice. Then we're going to fire it up to qualifying. These guys will get 2 laps out there. And then it's time to go racing here at Auto Club. Still early on in the season, these guys have plenty of opportunities to make up points, try and get something dialed in. And we're going to take an eye out with Jason Rockefeller in the 09, see what he can put down for his single car qualifying. Now, we know the 07 machine, Jeff Paisley, he was one of the fastest cars out there in practice. But what can Rockefeller do in his qualifying run? A lot of cars out on track right now. We're going to see who's going to be the first one to score some laps here. I believe it's going to be Rockefeller. I believe tonight these drivers have one fast repair at their disposal. So if they do have an incident early on, they can get back out there. But if Phoenix was any indicator, when you have so many cars out there with one fast repair, you can find yourself surrounded by crashes. We've got one bet in chat that there will be less than 5 cautions tonight. So if you're viewing along tonight, let us know. Over or under 5 cautions is what No Neck 019 is calling. So we'll see what happens there. I'm optimistic. I'm going to go with the under. Jason Rockefeller is going to come flying by the tri-oval, cross the line. We'll see by the type of time he puts down a 42.10 as Wilkinson, Ashby, Grunwald, a lot of drivers putting down their opening lap here, getting down to the 41s early on. So let's see what Rockefeller can do his next time by his flying lap. He's got to drop about 0.83 seconds to put himself on top of provisional pole here at Auto Club. But a lot of fast cars making their way out early on, trying to hammer down some lap times. And let's see what the 09 Ford Mustang can do this time by. Mixed feelings on the over and under here tonight, but Rockefeller does a great job. Bumps his way up to a 41.53, but not enough to get on top of pole. Take an eye out with Brett Redder. He's running the number 97, one of the Arcadia Motorsports drivers at his butt kicker sponsored Chevrolet Camaro. Redder, he's on his out lap right now. This will be his first time by. So let's see what the number 97, the league admin, can put down here. Did not show him as scoring that first lap, so interesting to see what happened. Maybe had a little bit of a bobble, maybe a tail tap on the wall. If you're new to the iRacing sim scene, what that means is you get any incident points in qualifying at all, it will invalidate that lap. So right now it's just Redder and David Sarwell Cornell who have not put down any laps so far. They still got a little bit shy of 2 minutes left to make it happen, so plenty of time to put down those flying laps. And these are two very fast drivers who are qualifying late. Redder in the 97, David Sarwell Cornell. We're used to seeing Sarwell Cornell towards the front every single day we run here, as Redder puts down a 41.62. So he's got one more lap to try and best that a little bit, but man, not a lot of lap time separating the front to the back. about 0.4 of a second, less than a second, honestly, separates the entire field here. I don't think the gap's any bigger than 0.7 at the high end. So if that's any indication of what's going to come tonight, it's going to be a good show for all of our viewers from across the world. And you're currently watching Brett Redder in the number 97 make his way around. Let's see, does Redder pass a 41.62 as he crosses the line for the final time? He does. He moves way up the stands with a 41.41. So well done to Redder, and I think David Starwell Cornell, he's still got 1 lap to go. He did a 41.51 his last time by, finds himself about 0.2 off the pace from provisional pole Justin Wilkinson in the number 19 machine. And he should have enough time to make it down the backstretch through 3 and 4 across the finish line, but it's going to be very, very close for the 63 Ford Mustang of David Starwell Cornell. Let's see. David Starwell Cornell puts his Ford Mustang in the 63 on top of pole with a 41.27 right at the nick of the time. Let's take it to the grid for tonight's feature event. It's going to be a barn burner. David Starwell Cornell starting on pole. Justin Wilkinson second on the front row. Jeff Paisley starting third. Steve Loving fourth. You've got Brett Redder, league admin, starting 5th. Michael Morrison starting 6th. Daniel D. Cunningham starting 7th tonight. Brett Grunwald starting 8th. Jeff Hinkle 9th. Josh Oswald 10th. Alan Wernicke starting 11th. Michael Smith starting 12th. Then you've got William Griffith Jr. starting 13th. Jason Rockefeller 14th. Larry Ashby 15th. Joshua Thompson 16th. Kai Shappert 17th. Ryan Williams starting 18th tonight. Charlie Gates Jr. starting 19th. You've got Kyle Roberts starting 20th in the 35 machine. Colt Lanford not having the qualifying he wanted for JBR Motorsports, starting 21st here tonight. Mike Uribe starting 22nd. And that is going to round out our field of drivers for the original Rebel Racing League Late Night Rebel Series at Auto Club for the Hall Sheet Metal 150. We're going to get all these guys in their car, get ready to get this party started. It's going to be 75 laps here today, and it's guaranteed to be a good one. We've got fans tuning in from Florida all the way up north to Connecticut. Hope everybody's staying safe as these storms have been really hitting the East Coast hard this week, myself included here in Georgia. Going to be interesting to see what happens here tonight. Hoping for some good green flag runs and great racing from all these competitors, but our iRacing pace car is going to lead them out for their warm-up and final siding lap. And then we're going to get this party started. 75 laps Auto Club, sure to be a good one around this 2-mile raceway. David Starwell Cornell did a dominant job in single car qualifying, rapidly advancing himself onto the pole position. To his right side, Justin Wilkinson, the number 19, expecting those guys to push very hard early on. One more time around the backstretch before that iRacing pace car comes in. And then we're going to get ready to go. It's going to be a barn burner here at Auto Club. Here we go. Absolute stacked field of drivers out here tonight. Pace car will be coming in this time by as they head out of turn 4. David Starwell Cornell, he's been getting great launches all season long. Behind him, he's got Jeff Paisley and Steve Loving as well. Pace car is in. Let's get ready to get this party started. Here we go. Green flag is out. There we go. David Starwell Cornell gets a good launch, but Justin Wilkinson might have had just a little bit better launch as this field is already looking to go 3 wide in the 3rd row. That's a brave move. Let's see how that works out for him. They're going to go 4 wide into 1 briefly as the number 97, Brett Renner, he's the one who dove to the inside off the start, trying to make it 3 wide. In front of him, he's got Michael Morrison, Daniel D. Cunningham, and there's action all across the racetrack as we see drivers blinking in. These storms hitting them hard up front. Davis Hartwell Cornell, Justin Wilkinson, Steve Loving, that's your battle for third, but you can throw a blanket over the top 5 right now as they make a little bit of contact. The number 19 gets loose. Jeff Paisley gets into the rear of it. I'm not sure if we're going to stay green here. It's looking like cars are scattering everywhere. Everyone's flying around the racetrack, seeing if they can hold on to it. A lot of connectivity issues for drivers here tonight, but almost had a big moment very early on in this race. These guys have got to know, hey, it's 75 laps. You can't win it on lap 1, but you can absolutely lose it. We've got folks cheering for Micah Uribe and Colt Lanford going for that back-to-front charge, trying to charge up the pack as quickly as they can. Davis Hartwell Cornell, he's got a comfortable lead, about 0.7 seconds over second place. Steve Lovin in the 27. Daniel D. Cunningham, he's running third in the 00. He finds himself about a half second back. We see smoke out on the racetrack. Not sure what happened there, but we're still green so far as the real battle heating up for third place. Daniel D. Cunningham, he's got Michael Morrison, Justin Wilkinson, Jason Rockefeller all over him right now. And they're going to go 2 wide into turn 1 and 2. As here comes the 21, Michael Morrison, trying to get around Daniel D. Cunningham. Behind them, cars scattering everywhere. Still lots of internet issues, it looks like. That may be Michael Smith having issues. He'll be keeping an eye on that. He'll get a courtesy warning from his other driver saying, hey, you're having problems. And if that continues to be a theme for Michael Smith, he may see himself getting an EOL, dropping out of the racing line just so these guys can continue up front and keep it green. Michael Morrison puts down a 41.52, but Jason Rockefeller puts down a 41.36, the fastest lap of the race so far. The 09 of Rockefeller doing a great job on that beautiful Spider-Man themed paint scheme with Avengers Motorsports aptly named for his team. As the Spider-Man doing what Spider-Man can, charging up the field. Rockefeller finds himself up 9 spots so far. He's working now. He's got Michael Morrison in his sights. Morrison battling side by side with Daniel D. Cunningham. And still 70 laps to go here at Auto Club. We thought it was going to get a little bit spicy and dicey here at the beginning, but so far the field's calmed down just a little bit. Some of the track dropped in single file, and here comes William Griffith, the number 12 car, puts down the fastest lap of the race, a 41.28. William finds himself in 8th place in his Ford Mustang. He is up 5 spots so far from where he started, and look at the action going on in front of him. A lot of 2 wide, spread out. Everybody trying to find a lane and sort it out. Justin Wilkinson, he's trying to give a push to Jason Rockefeller. And 2 very differing lines working. Watch Rockefeller. He's following the number 21 of Michael Morrison on that high line. Gives him a bit of a bump down the back stretch, trying to advance those guys more towards the lead pack. But when you're running this thick in pack racing, not a lot of places to go here. And all these drivers also remembering, hey, I've got a fast repair. You don't want to use it early on in the night. Again, for those that are kind of new to the iRacing series, you can allow your league drivers to have 1 fast repair, meaning if you have a terrific incident that finds your car heavily damaged, you can bring it into pit lane and get it worked on and go back out with a brand new fresh car. So these drivers do have that in the back burner, knowing, hey, if we do have an early incident, we can go back out there and charge hard. But generally the play of the game is make it last as long as you possibly can. No one wants to use a fast repair early on in the night, and then you find yourself with a ruined race car in the end. But, man, look at this battle for the lead. Daniel D. Cunningham in the 00. He's up 6 spots so far in his Toyota Camry. He's battling with Davis Sartwell Cornell in the Ford Mustang. Sartwell Cornell on the inside line with the 63. He's come up the racetrack, maybe gives a little bit of a warning to Daniel D. Cunningham saying, hey, I'm right here. They're going to go side by side, several rows deep, crossing the start-finish line straight. Here we go. And it looks like it's going to be Cunningham holds on to the lead as that outside line gets dangerously close to the wall and has the check up. So Cunningham and David Starwell Cornell, they're put on a fantastic show up front. Behind them, you've got Michael Morrison, Steve Loving, Justin Wilkinson, and Jason Rockefeller all jockeying for position. Anything is far from certain at this point, as we're seeing definitely two different grooves starting to form up. Not entirely sure which one's the fastest, but I believe Cunningham has a bit of advantage. He's able to hold that outside line, get a little bit more speed around the corners, and primarily it disallows David Starwell Cornell from drifting up the racetrack and isn't able to carry as much speed as, look, here comes Michael Morrison, gives a bump to race leader Daniel D. Cunningham and gives them a bit of a advantage over David Starwell Cornell. But here comes Starwell Cornell up the inside, doesn't have enough room to throw a block on Cunningham. So Cunningham's still going to show in the lead just for a moment here, but David Starwell Cornell says, I want that top spot back. He's diving down the inside. You still have Daniel D. Cunningham running the high line. Behind him, you've got Steve Loving. He's on the inside. Michael Morrison on the high side, and Jason Rockefeller trying to get a spot as well. Rockefeller runs it all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. They're going to go 3 wide through the tri-oval. Cunningham's going to hold on the lead. David Starwell Cornell is going to have second here, but look at Rockefeller running that low line compared to Steve Loving running the middle. Doing a great job, charging hard, and I've got to say, pretty good, clean, tight racing as these guys are letting it all hang out. We're only 10 laps into this feature event. But a lot of great racing all the way across the racetrack. Right as we pan to him, that was Daniel D. Cunningham, the 00 Toyota Camry. He has a moment, touches the wall, and that's going to slow the pace of that outside line. And we got the number 5. That's going to be Brett Grunwald, one of the Arcadia Motorsports drivers. Charge up through the field. He's only up 1 spot so far, but doing a great job. And David Starwell Cornell, he is running all alone out front, doing his best to try and avoid everybody getting in his draft. So he's doing a good job holding on to the pace. He did a 42.4 his last time by. It's about a 10th second than most of the field that last time by. All these guys trying to get something sorted out. Nobody seems to be happy going single file this early on in the run, so everyone charging extremely hard. You got to wonder, is that causing them to burn up tires a little bit prematurely? A lot of these guys have not had that much experience so far this season with good green flag runs and tire wear. They've had ample opportunities to come in for tires with all the cautions we've seen in the past. Not sure if that's going to change here tonight as the green flag run's starting to shape up. Michael Morrison, he moves into second place, and the number 21. He's going to drop in tow behind David Starwell Cornell. And then what a spectacular battle for second or third all the way back. Steve Loving trying to throw a block on Justin Wilkinson in the number 19 machine. These guys weaving all over the racetrack, playing a very advanced game of Snake, trying to crack the whip for the guys at the very back. And just look how different the lines are going into 1 and 2. Everyone scatters out to their preferred line. No one really seems to be happy following in tow here, but Steve Loving gets a little bit of a run, and we've got carnage out there at the back of the track. I'm not quite sure. I think it's going to be Ryan Williams, number 17. So let's take you over to the Butt Kicker sponsored instant slow motion replay. So we can confirm that is Ryan Williams in the number 8. Just gets into the outside wall on his lonesome. Dives across the racetrack. Absolutely collects the 23 of Jeff Hinkle. So Hinkle, I believe, able to hold on to it there. So well done to him. Then Ryan Williams has the internet connection issue. Next thing you know, we see him going the wrong way. That Camaro pointed down the racetrack. So we're going to re-rack him. That'll be our first caution of the night for the Hall Sheet Metal 150. Steve Loving, one of the JBR Motorsports drivers, doing a great job. Currently running third place. David Starwell Cornell. A lot of guys starting to dive into pit lane here. Justin Wilkinson opting to stay out in the number 19 machine. Michael Morrison also stays out. So let's see how that develops. So guys like Starwell Cornell, Steve Loving, Daniel D. Cunningham, Brett Grunwald, Jeff Hingle, Kyle Roberts, Kai Shappert, Charlie Gates. But really, most of the field come in on that one. They're going to be betting on more green flag runs later on, I think, trying to grab fuel and tires now. So a full tank of gas and 4 fresh Goodyears. We got a lucky dog flying around. That might have been Brett Redder in the 97, I believe. That is the number 97 charging hard, trying to get back on the lead lap. He had an early pit. I'm not sure if he had to take care of some issues, maybe real life stuff going on, or no. Look at the back of that Chevrolet Camaro. It's got a big old crinkle in the rear bumper. So the number 97 found himself involved with something at some point. So he's going to get back on the lead lap and then dive it into pit lane for 4 fresh Goodyears and some fuel. I don't think you're going to see Redder take a fast repair here yet in the run. Still 60 laps remaining, so he's going to wage his bets. Just try and stay on the lead lap. And then maybe later on, if you can keep that machine clean and not be forced to use the fast repair, maybe thinking about taking it for one of the final pit stops and coming out with a fresh race car. But it's going to be Michael Morrison out front, Justin Wilkinson, Jason Rockefeller, Josh Oswald. Our top 9 have not pitted yet, so they're going to be on their original set of tires. Behind them, the rest of the field still running out here. 22 drivers started. We still have 22 on track. Not kind of Redder, who came into pit lane for 4 fresh Goodyears and fuel. So let's see what happens. Now you're going to have 9 drivers with the original sets of tires compared to about 13 or 14 with fresh tires on there. So that's where things can get very exciting. Some guys are getting a little bit tighter, not able to push as hard compared to the guys who come in with fresh tires and then go wide open all over again. David Starwell Cornell, he might have had some problems there. He's showing as rapidly returning to pit lane, so not sure what happened to the number 63. He was a fan favorite to try and get out there and possibly win it, so not quite sure what happened there to David Starwell Cornell. I don't think I remember seeing him involved in any incidents, but he's going to find himself down 21 spots for this restart. Waiting for the pace car to come in this time by. They're going to keep all eyes on Michael Morrison, Justin Wilkinson on that front row. See what these drivers can do with the restart. And behind them, they've got a massive amount of drivers behind with fresh tires. Pace car is in. Keep an eye on the Morrison, the Tabasco machine on the inside line to his right, Justin Wilkinson. Both in Chevrolet Camaros. Here we go. Jason Rockefeller running the inside line, trying to get a piece of it early on. Rockefeller's going to have the second place spot going into turn 1, but can he hold on to it as Wilkinson's been running that mid to high line, carrying a bunch of momentum. Rockefeller's not going to be able to drift up the racetrack as easily and carry as much speed, but so far so good down the back stretch. It's going to be a drag race for second. It's still Morrison out front. Wilkinson barely edging out Rockefeller going into turn 3 and 4. Josh Oswald also running that high line, trying to carry as much speed as he possibly can. Rockefeller drifts up in front of Oswald, slows down that run just a little bit. And they're going to cross start-finish line, and we're going to bring out the second caution of the night. Let's see, Larry Ashby may have been involved in that one. I'm not rightly sure. Let's try and grab a replay here. Larry Ashby is the number 34. Looks like he may have gotten touched by the 00 there of Daniel D. Cunningham. And let's see where the number 34 ends up. Does he keep it off the wall? And what we're going to call that, ladies and gentlemen, is an aggressive pit entry. So locks it up, gets pointed the right direction, and enters pit lane like an absolute professional. So well done to Larry Ashby. As far as wrecks go, he could have come out much worse than that. So well done to Ashby, able to hold on to it. And that'll bring out our second caution of the night, lap 18. It's still going to be Michael Morrison, Justin Wilkinson on the front row. Jason Rockefeller still running third, and Josh Oswald fourth. Excuse me, William Griffith has moved up to fourth, so Oswald got edged out just a little bit there. It'll be about 35 laps to go once they cross the line this time by. We're going to get him re-racked behind that iRacing pace car and send him out once more. Now, one thing that definitely is going to affect things, those guys that took fresh tires later on, most of the field came in around that lap 14 mark. They're knowing, hey, I can really stretch this thing out now and maybe make it to the end on fuel, but we're still expecting a lot of the top 5, top 10 drivers to have to pit at least once. As Morrison, Wilkinson, Rockefeller, Oswald, Griffith, Thompson, Warnecki, and Michael Smith have not pitted yet. They're still on their original set of tires that they started here with tonight. Josh Oswald, the number 17 machine, he finds himself up 7 spots. Yeah, let's get ready to go. Pace car will be in this time by, you've got 21 drivers still on the lead lap. David Starkville Cornell has parked it for the night, so he may have had something going on. We know storms are really hitting all of our racers hard today, though no matter the sim. We're hearing from David Starkville Cornell, he had transmission problems. Car wouldn't go into any gear, so an early night for one of the fan favorites that was expected to be up top tonight. So hate to see it for David. He's one of our favorite guys to call, always does a great job driving clean. So hopefully he'll get those hardware issues dialed in before next week. Hope to see him back out front running again. Here we go for the restart. Pace car is in. And they're already swerving across the racetrack before they get to the start-finish line. Justin Wilkinson drops down in line, throws a block on Jason Rockefeller. A very odd move for the second-place driver, Wilkinson, the number 19. Michael Morrison's going to get another lap led in the number 21 Chevrolet. Josh Oswald third. Behind them, Jason Rockefeller. He's going to find himself battling with Steve Loving. Loving and the Miller-sponsored Chevrolet. He's going to go to the inside line, see if he can make something happen going into turn 3. Now he's got Josh Oswald still in front of him. Steve Loving getting around William Griffith and Rockefeller so far in one move. Rockefeller might have a little bit more pace in that 09 machine coming through the tri-oval. You see a lot of these fast guys trying to drop low and maybe get single file for just a moment. Michael Morrison still out front. Justin Wilkinson 7, but look at Steve Loving with a huge run. Loving came in on those on lap 14 to grab a fresh set of tires, and he's already rocketed back up to second place. Now he's got Michael Morrison's Tabasco-sponsored Chevrolet in his sights, and look at that. Steve Lovin's going to dive it up the inside. He's going to drift high here, throw a little bit of a block on the 21. And now he's going to be your new race leader as they get ready to start lap 23 as they cross the line. And, man, look at the field behind them right now. 2, 3 wide. No rhyme or reason. Everybody just kind of spread out trying to find a spot and hope nothing happens. But Stephen Loving, he's about to put down some blistering fast laps here as you're beginning to see some of those drivers that pitted on the lap 14 mark will make their way up to the field. They are 4 wide down the backstretch right now. What an absolute show from all of these drivers. William Griffith, Colton Lanford, Jason Rockefeller, all in the mix of it here. And they're once again going 4 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, back and forth into turn 3 and 4. Colton Lanford getting a good drive in the 25 machine. Lanford again one of those guys that put on a fresh set of tires and charging up to the front. No one willing to yield any spots here at Auto Club. I've got to say, this is probably some of the best racing we've seen from the late night guys. They're all driving extremely well and being relatively clean, pushing hard. Definitely some of the best racing we've seen. There's Kyle Roberts trying to make a move on William Griffith making his way by. Kyle Roberts in the number 35 machine doing a great job so far. He finds himself up 15 positions. Look at the number 5, Brett Grunewald. He's charging up the field as well. One of the Arcadia Motorsports guys that he came in on lap 14, got shuffled back, and now he's back out there pushing hard. Steve Loving absolutely doing a great job. He finds himself in the lead with a 0.4 second advantage over second place Colton Lanford. Lanford also on that lap 14 pit strategy. Everybody 2 wide, several rows deep behind second place. Colton Lanford, Brett Grunwald moving up great in the number 5 machine. He's up 5 spots, getting around Michael Morrison's Tabasco-sponsored Chevrolet. And, man, look at the pack starting to stack up behind Michael Morrison. Morrison's still out there on his original set of tires. Behind him, most of those guys are on freshies. As Kyle Roberts, the number 35 machine, makes the pass. Then you've also got the number 43 of Kai. He's coming in hot and heavy. The number 43 machine with Dirt Affliction doing a great job charging up. Kai finds himself up 11 spots right now, but man, look how wide they're going down the backstretch. 2, 3 wide, jockeying for position, trying to swing around and break some drafts while picking up another. Poor Michael Morrison finds himself falling back rapidly on those original set of tires, just not able to maintain the same pace as the guys around him with fresh tires. You saw a lot of guys pushing very hard early on, and that really starts to wear out tires here at Auto Club and make those cars tighten up much earlier than you want in a race. They're not quite to the halfway mark, and a lot of these drivers have not pitted yet. Most of the top 10, except for Justin Wilkinson and Michael Morrison, did come in on lap 14. Everyone took 4 tires and a full tank of gas. And just still great racing all across the board. Colton Lanford, he's got company. He's got Brett Grunwald and the number 5 on the outside line. They're going to make a charge, try to catch up to Steve Loving, currently running a very strong first place in the number 27 machine. Lanford, if he can finish in the top 3, would definitely be one of his top performances so far of the season. The number 25 driver trying to do his best to get out front early on, but he's got to keep tire wear in the back of his head because as these green flag runs are starting to get a little bit more common here at Auto Club, you may see him fighting tire wear as the run develops, but hopefully the young driver, the 25, able to hold on to a little bit of traction in reserve in case he needs to use up more of it later on, trying to make something happen, because right now he's got company. Jeff Paisley on the inside, as well as Kyle Roberts. They're going to try and make it 3 wide on the inside through the trioval. They're going to try and make it 4 wide. There's Brett Redder, number 97, using all of the racetrack plus some. Redder, the number 97, he's on the inside of Colton Lanford. Looks like he's going to get through clean. Now Redder's going to try and work on Daniel D. Cunningham, the 00, as well as Kyle Roberts and teammate Jeff Paisley. As it looked like Daniel D. Cunningham ran that inside line, didn't have any draft support, so that allowed Redder and Colton Lanford to get a little bit of a run there. And look at that, Cunningham does have a little bit of front end damage on the 00. I'm not sure how that front right damage on his hood is going to affect him later on the runs, but I know for certain outside the draft he's pushing air a little bit worse than those around him. As Redder gives a healthy shove to Kyle Roberts. Roberts is up 16 spots in his number 35 machine. These guys just working together, trying to get out front and make something happen. Steve Loving still out front. Brett Grunwald second. Jeff Paisley third. Brett Redder fourth. These guys doing a good job, putting on a fairly solid show here. Good racing from front to back. As Micah Uribe in the number 77 machine, he's watching the guys go 3 wide in front. That's Warnecki, Griffin, and Charlie Gates Jr. Uribe playing it smart. He's still up 6 spots from when he originally qualified, currently running 16th. He knows, hey, it's still a long race. There's probably a good opportunity to see some more crashes as the run develops. So Uribe, one of the veterans out here for the original Rebel Racing League, happy watching some of the younger drivers burn up some tires, and he knows, hey, if I got to push the 77 later, I definitely can, keeping those tires underneath me. Steve Loving still out front. Grunwald second. Paisley third. And we were watching Brett Redder fourth. Take it back out front. Brett Grunwald getting closer and closer to the rear bumper of the 27. This is the battle for the lead on screen. You've got 2 Arcadia Motorsports drivers in the top 3 pushing hard. Larry Ashby, he came into pit lane a little bit early, taking his first set of tires and fuel, wanting to get back out there. But man, look at Steve Loving giving a little bit of a, Grunwald giving a little bit of a shove to Steve Loving, maybe trying to get that that number 27 machine, maybe a little bit frazzled, but it looks like Grunwald lost a lot of time there getting into the outside wall. Teammate Jeff Paisley, number 7, does a good job avoiding him, dives it down the inside. What you can expect to see here is those 2 teammates start working together to get single file and push their way up to the front, maybe battle for the lead, try and take it away from Steve Loving. Loving, he's with JBR Motorsports. Behind him, he's got Jeff Paisley, Brett Grunwald, both with Arcadia Motorsports. And Daniel D. Cunningham, he's also up there in the mix. I believe he is an unsigned driver. Jeff Paisley comfortably in second right now. It's going to be his turn to try and catch up to Steve Loving. He's got the support of teammate Brett Grunwald behind him. Their other teammate, Brett Redder, he currently finds himself in 5th in that second pack right behind our leaders. Trying to catch up and give some support to the teammate. I know these guys would like nothing more to put their team 1, 2, and 3 on the top box, but they've got to be feeling great right now. They've got 2 of their drivers running out front, representing their brand and team extremely well, as Jeff Paisley starting to make a move on current race leader Steve Loving. Less than a 3-car length separates the top 2. Everybody running very different lines still this late in the run. It's interesting to see that the Arcadia Motorsports guys are happy following in single file behind Steve Loving. I kind of expected them to hold a high line as Loving dropped down low to break the draft. I would have thought that 2-car pack would work together and push their way up, but they've got something going on. They're all on comms with their crew chief, spotter, and other drivers trying to communicate some race strategy, and several different packs really forming up. You've got your top 3, Loving, Paisley, Grunwald. Behind them, you've got Cunningham, you've got Redder, Hinkle, and Roberts all in a pack, as well as Shappert. And then behind this pack, you've got William Griffith, you've got Jason Rockefeller, Alan Wernicke, Charlie Gates Jr., Michael Morrison all running together. So some good packs really starting to form up, but the battle for the lead still kicking off. Brett Redder also making moves back here. He's running the inside line against Daniel D. Cunningham. and Kyle Roberts. These guys are trying to jockey for position as well. They get into each other. They touch. They hold on to it looks like. So well done. That was the 0-0. Daniel D. Cunningham kind of getting bumped into the wall there. As Redder's going to take over 4th spot in the number 97 machine. But Redder finds himself around a bunch of other drivers that want to battle for position instead of push up to the front. As you see Kyle Roberts hint to the inside against Redder, they're going to go down the start-finish line. Redder tries to throw a block, swerves to the low line. So we have that preferred line going into turn 1 and 2 here at Auto Club. As we get ready to cross the line, we are about at the halfway mark here. Redder doing a great job moving his way back up to 4th place after an early pit stop on lap 14. Everybody in the top 8 has pitted on lap 14. Redder gets maybe a little bit tight there. You see him start pushing up to that outside wall. Now Redder did a 43.45 his last lap. Pretty much on pace with current race leader Steve Loving. Josh Oswald takes an aggressive hop into the pits. He's having issues and wants to get it corrected. And look at that, we got a battle for the lead. Steve Loving, Jeff Paisley going side by side into turn 1. Paisley trying to make the outside work. Loving on the inside. Let's see where it shakes up going down the back stretch. It looked to me like Paisley had a run. He does. Dives to the inside. Gets no draft support from his teammate, Brett Grunwald. But now Paisley's going to be on that inside line. He's going to come up the racetrack, maybe throw a block on Steve Loving, or they're going to do a little bit of high-low maneuver. As the caution comes out, Charlie Gates Jr. and Michael Morrison both involved, but Paisley will be on top for the restart. Let's grab you that butt kicker slow motion replay. Charlie Gates Jr., he's the number 55. You've also got Michael Morrison in the 21 involved. So it looks to me like the 21, Michael Morrison, gets into the outside wall, gives a hearty bump into it, and he's going to come across the racetrack and absolutely collect the number 55 of Charlie Gates Jr. So hate to see it for both those drivers. So that's going to bring out our 3rd caution of the night, and we're going to re-rack them once more. That'll be our 3rd caution of the night. We've got about 35 laps remaining, as I'm expecting to see our top drivers come into pit lane for 4 fresh Goodyears and tank of gas. I think the entire field's going to come in at this point. I don't predict you're going to see many, if anybody, staying out. And now it's going to be a battle on pit lane to see who can get in and out the fastest and keep that track position. I think it's pretty much a safe bet that everyone's going to take 4 tires here as well as a tank of gas. I don't think you're going to see anybody going for a 2-tire strategy trying to make something happen and gain some track position. There's been too many good green flag runs so far. Justin Wilkinson has to drive all the way down to pit lane to get his tires on of the number 19. And yeah, it looks like everybody's taking 4 tires all the way across the board. I don't see any 2-tire stops so far. Jeff Paisley's going to re-enter the track still in 1st place. In the Arcadia Motorsports number 7, Brett Grunwaltz will be 2nd place. Brett Redder shows in 3rd place. That's odd. Steve Loving, he leaves pit lane in 4th place. So Loving, he was in pit lane for about 2.5 seconds longer than the other drivers. May have missed his pit stall in 27. So he's going to find himself shuffled back from 2nd to 4th leaving pit lane. So hate to see that for the number 27. He's been running great all night, but let's see what he can do off the line and maybe try and gain some positions. But now you've got 3 teammates running 1, 2, and 3 that will 100% be communicating with each other, trying to work on some strategy and some drafting. With 35 laps to go, you may see some great strategizing come out. I'm excited to see it, especially as we're starting to see a little bit more green flag runs here, and drivers doing a good job staying out front. Brett Redder currently third place. He is up 2 spots in the number 97 machine. Then you've got Brett Grunewalt. He is up 6 spots in the number 5. And finally, you got Jeff Paisley. He's up 2 spots in his Arcadia Motorsports sponsored number 7. So 3 Chevrolets out front doing great. But let's see, can they hold on to it, Auto Club? We've seen a night of pretty good runs, but anything can happen, especially as we get more cautions. I don't see a single driver that did not pit on lap 39, except for Larry Ashby. His last pit stop, the number 34 machine, was on lap 30. We're going to form them up 2 wide as far as the eye can see. Still have 20 drivers in the lead lap, so a great run from all of our guys. We've got 2 drivers out, Josh Oswald, David Serba-Cornell. We know David was out with unfortunate hardware issues. Again, I really hate to see that for him. Pace car will be in this time by, keep an eye on the number 7, Jeff Paisley, but he's surrounded by teammates right now. Paisley gets a great launch. Grunewalt in the number 5 machine gets an okay start, but Redder does not get a great start at all. He may be trying to allow his teammate, the number 5, to drop in line here. Or Redder may be on blocking duty for the team. You've got Paisley out front, Grunewalt second, Redder third. Behind Redder, you've got Steve Loving. He was running up in second place before that pit cycle and finds himself cycle back to fourth, just being a little bit slower on pit lane. But, oh, look at the bumping and grinding going on there. Steve Loving gives Redder just a touch of bumper, pushes the number 97 machine a little bit wide, I think, going into turn 3 and 4. That's going to allow Loving to get back in the mix, surrounded by Arcadia Motorsports cars. Loving's going to hold the inside line. Look at that. Jeff Paisley drops to the inside line as well. So not sure what the strategy is here today, but it's going to be a great race as they go 2 by 2 into turn 1. You've got Paisley and Grunewald out front. Steve Loving, Brett Redder running that second row. Loving on the inside, Redder on the high line, the number 97. And man, what great racing from all of these guys. Inside line gets a run. Paisley gets left out to dry. Let's see what he does. Diving into the inside of 3. Is he going to drift up in front of Steve Loving? Redder still running that high line, trying to carry a little bit more momentum and save some tires, but it looks like that's going to allow Loving and I think Paisley to get right around him. It does. And they're going to go 3 and 4 wide once more through the tri-oval. Grunewald still out front. Paisley currently showing in second. He's on the inside, Paisley on the outside of Steve Loving, who tried diving it in deep up the inside, but I don't think that outside line is quite working like Redder thought it would. I mean, you've got all the Arcadia Motorsports drivers on the left side of your screen. Steve Loving trying to get Redder as unsettled as he can, diving into the corner, and it seems to be working all right for him. All these guys clicking off high 41s. Paisley did a low 42 that last lap. We'll see what it is as they cross the start-finish line, where it'll be 30 to go here at Auto Club. And man, not a lot separating the top 10 here. Everybody doing a great job, running very, very clean. I'm very surprised to see the lead pack taking so many different lines. They've got to know, hey, it's a little bit slower to go alternative lines instead of dropping in single file. Right now, Redder finds himself about 0.4 seconds back from race leader Brett Grunewald, but he gives a shove to his teammate Jeff Paisley going into 3, trying to keep that bump draft working in their favor. Jason Rockefeller in the number 9 machine doing a great job working his way back up to the front. He's up 9 spots from where he originally started. Behind him, you've got Kyle Roberts in the 35 machine, that beautiful red, white, and blue Toyota Camry. He finds himself up 14 spots. And I've got to say, from a broadcaster's point of view, it's very cool seeing all the different unique lines really starting to take effect here. You got some guys running low to middle, and then some guys like Redder and Rockefeller that running that high to mid, or the mid to high line. As, man, the top 5 drivers all nose the tail out here until they go into the corner and break into their separate sections. But look at Jeff Paisley. He's riding along the inside. He's going to get by Brett Grunewald coming out in the start-finish line. Not sure if he's going to throw a block on his teammate. He does not. He's going to allow Grunewald to keep the run he had. But Grunewald says, no, I'm fine here. And there goes Redder diving down the inside. Throws a bit of a block on Steve Loving, who moves to the high line. And now here comes Redder. Is he going to battle hard with his teammate Grunewald? It looks like he is. Grunewald is going to allow the number 97 by. But here comes Steve Loving. He is charging hard in that Miller sponsor, number 27. You've got Steve Loving on the outside of the inside, excuse me, the right side. It's been a long night, I'm sorry, of your screen trying to make something happen. Going to the inside of turns 3 and 4. Redder still running that high line. He's got teammate Brett Grunewald behind him, but man, look at that inside line starting to form up. Now you've got William Griffith. He's in the mix, the number 12 machine. Jason Rockefeller, he's there. Kyle Roberts, I mean, so much action going on here in your top 5. As Steve Loving, a man on a mission, the number 27, driving hard against a field stacked full of team drivers. It's going to be 27 laps to go, 26 once they cross the line. Still not quite sure how this is going to settle. Redder doing a great job in second place right now. He's got Stephen Lovins going to be on his inside going into turns 3 and 4. Redder, Loving, battling hard for second place. Looks like Redder has a bit of a moment, may have touched the wall. That's going to allow Brett Grunewald, the number 5 machine, to get a run. And they're once again going to hint at going 2 and 3 wide across the start-finish line. Man, what a great race from all these competitors so far tonight. I'm having a great time up here in the booth. I hope you are as well at home. As they continue to hint at going 3, almost 4 wide, coming out of 1 and 2. 3 wide down the back stretch. You've got Grunewald. He's battling with Rockefeller and Loving, as well as the number 12 of William Griffith, who's heavily in the mix. Griffith dives down low, seeing if he can make something happen. Patience, definitely the name of the game. 26 laps to go as they cross the line. These guys have got to be careful not to burn up all their tires too early on, battling for position. Jeff Hinkle, the number 23. We haven't called his name out much tonight, but he is up 6 spots in his Toyota. Hinkle with BRR Motorsports doing a great job, charging hard, currently showing in 5th place, but that can change in a heartbeat as we've seen these guys really battling hard all night for the top 5. You know who's enjoying all this racing action going on? Race leader Jeff Paisley. Right there shows you what a 0.6 second gap looks like here at Auto Club, as the more Redder and Grunewald are battling for second place. Allows Jeff Paisley to stretch that gap out just a little bit longer. Paisley, one of those guys that seems to prefer that low to mid line coming through 1 and 2, carries a lot of speed out on the back stretch. An absolute massive field of drivers. This is pack racing at its finest, as teammates Grunewald and Redder still second and third. They're battling for position, trying to sort out where they're going to end up at here. Grunewald and Redder, they're battling for second place right now. Behind him, you've got Jason Rockefeller charging hard up. He's up 10 spots from where he started. William Griffith, he's running 5th place, up 8 spots. A lot of hard charges here tonight. Everybody doing a great job pushing hard when appropriate, trying not to burn up their tires as the Arcadian cars still go side by side down the back stretch. Looks like Grunewald's going to try and tuck in behind Brett Redder, diving into turn 3. There's 24 laps to go. These guys have got to be feeling the effects of their tires. They're about to start lap 52. Everyone pitted on lap 39. So as we get later on in this run here, you can see guys really starting to tighten up. As Jason Rockefeller, he finds himself battling with the number 23 Chevrolet of Jeff Hinkle. Man, I'm very impressed with the differing lines there. I can't say that enough coming through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, how everybody seems to pick a different line and stick with it no matter what everyone's doing around them. I'm not sure if one is better for tire saving here at Auto Club, or or what the strategy is, but it makes for very, very interesting racing. As William Griffith, he's one of those guys running the low line to his outside. You've got Kyle Roberts, Justin Wilkinson. Wilkinson getting into the side of Kyle Roberts. They're going to go 3 wide across the start-finish line. Up front, still have Jeff Paisley with a commanding lead, a 0.6 second gap over second place with Brett Redder. Brett Grunewald running in third. Behind them, Jason Rockefeller leads a pack of great drivers as everybody's trying to squeeze out track position. I believe that was William Griffith you saw get very momentarily into the outside wall and slow down his run. No, that was Justin Wilkinson, number 19 machine. Brett Grunewald, Brett Redder still going side by side for second place. Meanwhile, you've got Jason Rockefeller trying to hold on to that 4th spot as Jeff Hinkle's charging hard at number 23. Rockefeller running the outside line, Hinkle on that midline. They get very, very close, come out to the start-finish line straight, but the battle for second, the battle for third, currently side by side down the backstretch. Nobody willing to yield here, but look at Jeff Hinkle. He's going to get the inside line against Rockefeller. Let's see who carries the most speed out of the turns 3 and 4 to go down the back stretch. It looks like it's going to be Hinkle has a little bit better run as Rockefeller drops in line in front of them. They're still going 2 wide between Redder and Grunewald, drag racing down the start-finish line straight. They're rapidly losing time, though, to Jeff Hinkle, Jason Rockefeller, William Griffith, and Justin Wilkinson, who are all going single file down the stretch before dropping into their preferred race lines going into turns 1 and 2. We're going to take you on board just ever so briefly with Brett Redder and we'll watch the action for 1 lap here around Auto Club. Well, that was short-lived as we see Redder give the wall a little bit of a love tap there. Let's see what happens from his point of view in the butt kicker replay. We're going to back that up. That deserves a longer replay than that as Redder hung on to it for what seemed like a country mile. And let's get that butt kicker slow-motion replay rocking and rolling. I'm not quite sure what happened to Redder here. It looks like he just got a little bit tight up into the wall, the number 97. Little bit of a tap, so I hate to see it for Redder. He was running so great tonight in the number 97. And then the world's longest crash starts to happen as the number 97. When you heard him, he didn't really lift a whole lot. Thought he could hold on to it. And lays down some spectacular marks all across the racetrack before he finally realizes, oh, this is about to go very, very bad. And unfortunately drifts up into traffic. I'm not quite sure who's going to get collected here. Rockefeller gets a hard shove trying to check out. And then the number 12 also get involved. That's William Griffith. As Redder goes around and around and around. Spinning that number 97 like a top down the straightaway here at Auto Club to bring out our 4th caution of the night. Up front, you still got Jeff Paisley, Brett Grunewald, Jeff Hinkle, Jason Rockefeller, and Justin Wilkinson, our top 5 as we round out the laps here at Auto Club. It's going to be 18 laps to go, and they're all going to shuffle back into pit lane for some 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of gas. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, always bringing the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second, I'm James East up in the booth for the original Rebels Racing Late Night Series, sponsored by Hall Sheet Metal for the Hall Sheet Metal 150 here tonight. I greatly appreciate all of you tuning in, enjoying the show. All these drivers doing their best to put on the best performance they possibly can for all of you drivers at home. Should be about 16 laps to go once they cross the line for the restart. Jeff Paisley has been doing a great job all night. Out of the pits, Alan Warnecki's going to come up to second. Brett Grunewald's going to get shuffled back one spot to third. It looks like Warnecki went for a two-tire strategy to try and gain track position. But let's see how long the number 72 can hold on to it and see if that's going to be a great play by him. We may see something change up, and it very well may end up in his favor out here. Warnecki, the number 72, he is up 8 spots from where he originally qualified, so great to see him out there running strong here today. As you see Warnecki falling back, not sure what happened there. Maybe the number 72 received an EOL. I'm not quite sure what transpired, but you're going to see Warnecki rapidly drop to the back there. Very, very odd. So Warnecki, he's going to go from second place all the way down to 20th, so it looks like he did receive an EOL. We're going to get ready to re-rack him as Jeff Paisley, Brett Grunewald, your front row in the matching Arcadia Motorsports cars. Behind him, you've got Jeff Hinkle and Jason Rockefeller. Rockefeller, a man on a mission, that 09 Spider-Man themed Marvel car. Going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here. It's going to be 15 to go once they cross the line for the restart. We got a report from pit lane that there's a black flag for the 72 on pit exit, so that's why he's going to receive that EOL. Pace car will be in this time by and away we go with 15 laps to go as Jeff Paisley on the inside, Brett Grunewald on the high line. Looks like Paisley immediately goes high there to try and get the draft support from his teammate, Brett Grunewald. And then keep an eye on Jeff Hinkle. He's in the number 23 run that inside line. He's got Jason Rockefeller on his outside in the 09. Everybody trying to get the best drive they possibly can, but they're going 3 wide, coming out of 2 onto this backstretch. Rockefeller gets touched. He gets into Jason Rockefeller. They're going to go around. Big crash. Yellow flag coming out. Michael Morrison also involved in that one. So that started with the 23 and the 09 of Jeff Hinkle, and then Rockefeller started that initial crash. Let's see what happens to Morrison here. So that's a good view up there. Let's look up front. On the top left of your screen, that's the number 23 and the 09 getting together and getting the party started as they were going 3 wide, come out of 2, and then, oh no, he gets crashed all on his lonesome. The number 77, Micah Rebay, not quite sure why, or how. So I'm telling you what we're going to do here. We're going to watch Micah Rebay's onboard and see what happened. So watch Micah Rebay. You're on board with the number 77 right now. In front of them, you've got Michael Morrison, the number 21. That's a hard one to call. I think the 21 dropped down right as Uribe was starting to come up the racetrack. And that's going to send that Tabasco-sponsored machine sliding around as there's the separate crash in front of them between Rockefeller and, let me see, Rockefeller and who else was that? That was the number 23 of Jeff Hinkle. So a lot of action early on. That's going to bring out our 5th caution of the night. Yeah, 2 separate wrecks happening all at once across the racetrack. I don't know if the caution was going to come out between Jeff Hinkle and Rockefeller. But I think Rockefeller is going to be able to get his position back. Looks like he's showing in 3rd place. Jeff Hinkle in 4th. So these guys are going to try and stay out. It looks like 13 to go, but their tires have got to be feeling the burn after that long slide from both drivers. It'll be about 11 laps to go on the line once they get ready to restart. So up front, still Jeff Paisley, Brett Grunewald, Jason Rockefeller, Jeff Hinkle, and William Griffith are top 5. So I've got to say, some of those guys got very lucky with that caution coming out after they were already spinning. I don't think the caution was going to come out with them spinning down the apron like that. The iRacing yellow flags, they only come out usually if there is an incident on track, on the racing service. So if you have an incident that throws you into pit lane or spins you way down the apron off the line, sometimes that caution will not come out. So Rockefeller and Hinkle had to be thankful for a second chance here to get back out there and run for that top 5 spots. Well, I have a breaking action. We would like to once again thank you, Hull Sheet Metal, for coming on tonight for tonight's sponsor, Hull Sheet Metal Heating and Air Conditioning. Some of the best guys in the business. Check them out for all of your needs. They will get you hooked up and provide absolute professionalism from start to finish in your performance. So thank you again for those guys for coming on board. It looks to me like Hinkle and Rockefeller came out relatively unscathed from that one. I believe the biggest thing they're going to have to worry about here is tire wear. So when they went spinning around the racetrack like that, it puts a lot of heat into your tires that you can't quite cool off under caution and will cause your car to tighten up more as the run develops. But as far as actual bodywork damage, they came through relatively unscathed from what it looks like. So let's see how those two drivers are able to fare after that spin. And they got very, very lucky with the caution immediately coming out from that second wreck. We're going to re-rack them. Pace car will be coming in. It'll be 11 to go at the line for possibly the final run of the night. Didn't look like anybody came in for tires on that section. And still having 20 drivers out on the lead lap. So a lot of good racing here, and these guys are doing a great job tonight. I'm very impressed with what we've been seeing. Pace car will be in this time by, you've got teammates starting 1 and 2, Jeff Paisley, Brett Grunewald. Paisley on the inside wall, Grunewald on the outside line, the number 5, but keep an eye out for Jason Rockefeller, the number 9. He's been charging hard all night long. As right now, it looks like he's working his way up into second place. He's going to throw a little bit of a block on Brett Grunewald, separating the two Arcadia Motorsports drivers, and now Rockefeller is going to dive it in deep into turn 1, and let's see if he can make some magic happen in that Spider-Man painted Ford Mustang. Oh, they're bobbing and weaving all over the place. Looks like Paisley's trying to break the draft to try and pick up his teammate, but Rockefeller says, no, sir, not today. And they're going to dive it deep into turn 3 and 4. Rockefeller, he's got Grunewald right on the inside. Looks like he's able to keep the position so far. And look at that. Here comes William Griffith, the number 12 machine. Oh, it's a bad crash. Oh, that was a big hit. Oh, and they're still crashing. What on earth are they doing back there? Kyle Roberts involved, Jeff Hinkle, Ryan Williams, William Griffith, Larry Ashby, Brett Redder, all involved in that one. There's cars going absolutely everywhere. What are they doing? So watch the number 12. Gets button hooked by 05. Brett Grunewald is going to send him sliding around. And then the crash that just keeps on giving. I believe I saw the number 23 involved, Jeff Hinkle. Jeff Hinkle and Innocent Bice. No, Jeff Hinkle was the one spinning across the racetrack. And then, unfortunately, he's going to get into a few more good men. He's about to hit the number 35, Kyle Roberts. Just hits that corner panel at the perfect spot. Then Redder, he's also going to get in the mix here. As the 23 sliding across the racetrack. He's going to get in the quarter panel of the number 97, send him sliding around. And if that camera angle doesn't show you the carnage from pit lane, I don't know what does, ladies and gentlemen, as there's cars scattered everywhere. The big one here at Auto Club, as the cautions keep racking up, ARCA brakes are in full effect, and just a lot of good drivers getting absolutely destroyed on that one. They're still crashing in the back of the field there. We bring out our 6th caution of the night. It's going to be 9 laps to go. We may be able to get them restarted before we go into green-white checker conditions. So up front, it's going to be Jeff Paisley, Jason Rockefeller, Justin Wilkinson, number 19. He moves up to 3rd. Steve Loving in 4th, and Jeff Hinkle 5th. But, man, the whole field has been really shaken up here, as a lot of drivers are going to have to come in and use that fast repair. Hopefully they still have one in reserve. We're going to get them re-racked, maybe for the final time. It's going to be about 7 laps to go once they cross the line. Let's see, can they make it to the end? We've seen some great racing so far tonight, but unfortunately just marred with a little bit of tragedy on track, as a lot of good drivers getting crashed that last go-around. They've got to be on their last fast repair if they haven't already used them already, as we saw a good 10 cars involved in that incident. Let's see what happens here, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a shootout. Really, really unfortunate to see William Griffith involved in that incident. He was a very fast driver in his Ford Mustang. I think he could have had a good run all the way up to the end, but just marred by bad luck. But let's get ready to re-rack him. Pace car will be in this time by. It'll be 7 laps to go at the line. Paisley still out front. Rockefeller in the 09. He's been charging hard. He's going to be starting on the outside line, front row. Pace car is in. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Get on the edge of your seats. It's party time as Jeff Paisley gets a great launch. Rockefeller on the outside line doesn't get quite the launch that he wants, but still able to maintain. They're already going 3 wide in row 3 on the restart here. Jason Rockefeller, he's got Justin Wilkinson and the number 19 machine on his inside. Wilkinson started the race in second and had bad luck early on, but we know he's got a fast car in the number 19. They're going to go side by side down the back stretch. Looks like Paisley's going to try and pick up some draft support from Wilkinson. Now Paisley's trying to make that number 7 car 2 lanes wide to slow down every run he can. But look at this. Here comes the number 27 of Steve Loving. Loving, he was one of the faster drivers early on before getting in his share of bad luck. And look at that. Number 19, Wilkinson, gets into the outside wall just a little bit, slows down his run. Rockefeller has the shake up. And they're going to go 2 by 2 for the lead, crossing the start-finish line. Still Wilkinson out front, Paisley second, Rockefeller in third, and then Loving just barely gets around him. So Loving moves up to third, Rockefeller, they're going back and forth. It's too quick to call. as they take wildly different lines going into turns 1 and 2. It's going to be, once again, Wilkinson and Paisley up front. Looks like Paisley's going to get shuffled back as he runs the inside, but anything can happen as they dive into turn 3. But Wilkinson's got a good lead so far. Paisley running in second, trying to catch up to the leader, Justin Wilkinson. Behind him, he's got both Jason Rockefeller and Steve Loving trying to get themselves sorted as well. And they are all over the racetrack trying to make something happen here. Wilkinson still comfortably out front. Paisley doing a great job clicking off laps into the number 7 machine. Behind him, he's got Rockefeller and Loving, who have been charging hard all night long. Paisley looks to throw a little bit of a block. Rockefeller tucks back in line going into turns 3 and 4. He knows Paisley's been running that inside line all night long, and there's Paisley with a huge run on the number 19, Justin Wilkinson. He's going to drift up racetrack, and look at that. Here comes Rockefeller down the inside. Paisley touches the outside wall, loses a little bit of momentum. Rockefeller charging hard, trying to make that racetrack as small as possible. Slides up in front of Jeff Paisley. And look, Paisley's going to pay him back going into turn 1. Paisley dives down low while Rockefeller goes high. Let's see what happens as they come out of turn 2. Rockefeller still holding the high line. He's got the draft of race leader, Justin Wilkinson. Jeff Paisley has no draft support. He's going to lose a spot to Steve Loving, who's now in third. Oh, man, these guys are charging hard. Jason Rockefeller all over the rear bumper of Justin Wilkinson, diving into turn 1. And these guys have been taking differing lines all night long. It's a game of who can carry the most speed without sacrificing that inside line. As Rockefeller has a good run, but Steve Loving has a fantastic run in the number 27. Laps are closing down. 3 laps to go. It'll be 2 when they cross the line. Look at Jason Rockefeller. He's diving down the inside, seeing if he can make a move on Justin Wilkinson. They drift up the racetrack. He throws a block. They contact, but so far so good. They touch again. These guys are driving it very aggressively with 2 laps to go. You've got Rockefeller on the inside, Wilkinson on the high line. Steve Loving behind them in their 27 trying to make something happen. And then here comes Jeff Paisley sliding it in on the number 7. They're going to go 3 wide coming out of turn 2 on the back stretch. We saw this before. It ended in absolute tragedy. Jeff Paisley still on the inside line. The outside, you've got Wilkinson, Rockefeller, and Loving, as well as Daniel D. Cunningham back in the mix. It's going to be white flag as they cross the line. Right now, it still shows Wilkinson out front. Rockefeller has a good run, gives a little bit of a bumper to the number 19, gets him unsettled there. These guys wiggling back and forth. Rockefeller on the high line, Wilkinson on the inside line, letting it all hang out. Oh, what a huge hit! Rockefeller comes down the racetrack and absolutely doors Wilkinson, the number 19. That's going to allow Loving to get a little bit better run there. What a night for overly aggressive racing, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are not making any friends on the track, it looks like. It's going to be Jason Rockefeller is going to lead the pack into turn 3 and 4. Behind them, Steve Loving, Daniel D. Cunningham. And it looks to me like Rockefeller is going to get his first win of the season here at Auto Club, followed by Steve Loving and Daniel Cunningham. A very interesting race here to call tonight. We saw a bunch of cautions and a little bit aggressive driving out there today, but able to bring it home, and pretty good time here for the Hall Sheet Metal 150. As we're going to take a quick pause and try and get these 3 top contenders into the podium booth. Jason Rockefeller going to light it up in the 09 machine. A great run from him tonight. And we were definitely over on the cautions guess. We've got people... We've got some folks absolutely lighting it up, and everybody's celebrating around the world. And yeah, Hall Sheet Metal going to be busy after tonight's race, where a lot of good body work was sacrificed to the racing gods here today. We're trying to get drivers up into the waiting room. We're starting to get them trickling up first. We've got third place Daniel Cunningham in the 00 machine. Daniel, what a roller coaster of a night. You were up front, you were towards the back, and then nobody knew how that one was going to finish.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. I do want to apologize. I think it was the 34 car I got into earlier, so definitely want to apologize to him. Didn't mean to get into him like that, but had a lot of fun. Just first time out actually running one of the official races, so glad to get a good finish out of it.
Yeah, good to see a lot of fresh faces out here tonight. Looked like some of our bigger grids, and we've got to say definitely cleaner than what we saw last week, so always great seeing some good green flag runs develop and good hard racing. How was the car feeling later on or the middle of that run? I know everybody was pretty much on the same tire strategy, but was it getting unbearably tight, or was it still a good time all the way around?
The first run, I definitely got tight running the bottom early on, but as the race went on, just trying to run the high line and save something for the end of it definitely seemed to work out. And for whatever reason, these tracks where you can get up and run along the wall and rip the fence are the ones that I seem to take to, and definitely the most fun to run for me.
Well, I mean, great job tonight. Good to see you up here in the podium booth in third, bringing it home for the 00. Daniel, before we let you go, anybody like to cheer on tonight, or excuse me, give a shout out to you for anybody that might have been cheering you on out and then across the world tuning in tonight's broadcast?
Just definitely want to thank Brett for putting on the league. I know he had some issues with the race, but he worked hard to get everything fixed and get the race put on. And thanks to all of our series sponsors. Definitely appreciate them coming on board, like Hall Sheet Metal, Magic Mike Motorsports, Arcadian, Smeal Racing Design, and Butt Kicker. And thanks to Rowdy Energy for keeping me going all night.
Well done. I'm going to have to get some of that as well, my friend. But Daniel, always a pleasure, man. We hope to see you up in the booth next week.
Definitely appreciate it. Thanks for putting on a good broadcast.
Always a pleasure. All right, up next, you've got second place, Steve Loving, bringing it home in second in the 27. Steve, what an exciting night from start to finish. We saw some pretty good green flag runs compared to what we've seen in the past, and then some very, very tough love among drivers bumping and grinding up towards the front.
Yeah, it was an absolute blast. We had a great time. Everybody raced hard. We raced clean. There's a few times, I got the car into a situation where I was like, this doesn't sound good. And I tapped the brake and ducked out and decided I'll try to get on the next corner rather than forcing it. But all in all, that was one of the best races I've had with the Rebels.
Well, I mean, you did a great job tonight. Great to see you up here in second. You gained 2 spots from where you originally started. I mean, it was a back and forth seesaw for a lot of drivers, having to use those fast repairs and dodging those big wrecks. Were you happy to keep it pretty clean all night, or were you kind of expecting to get collected at least once here?
Yeah, I got lucky. There's a couple times I had some incidents happening. I was able to sneak by. One time, giving me a pretty good amount of damage on the right front, just enough to clip it. But when I went in and decided to get cleaned up and carry on. But all in all, there's always a lot of luck on all of these. A lot of skill, but definitely luck. If something happens, you kind of hope for the best.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But Steve, before we let you go, if you want to give a shout out to any friends, family, sponsors, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, first and foremost, JBR Motorsports and Peglet Felts for helping spot. Did a fantastic job. Love the team. Whole Sheet Mill, Magic Mike Motorsports, Arcadian, Smeal Racing, Butt Kicker, of course. You guys, Team Goon, you guys did a great job with the broadcast, and most importantly, Bill Elliott.
Awesome, my friend Steve. We'll see you next week. Have a good night, my friend.
All right, do it for Dale.
You heard it from the man. Do it for Dale. But next we've got Jason Rockefeller. I believe his top win or top finish so far this season. Jason, you got a good read on me?
Yes, sir.
Jason, I know I say it every broadcast, and maybe you don't get to hear it, but always love the Spider-Man painted number 9. We've seen you marred with bad luck early on in the season, but tonight you're able to pull it together and put it on the tippy top of the podium. You've got to be feeling fantastic tonight.
Yeah, I just want to clear the air real quick and tell the 19 that I apologize. We were racing really, really hard up there in the top 5 and just so happened to be going down the front straightaway. He, I guess, tried to get a little bit of a better arc and then come back up the side draft and heading into one there on the white flag in the one. And looked back at the replay. It looked like it was a netcode incident there. He kept coming up. I just came down a little bit and netcodes but settled it. But yeah, I'm really surprised we finally got Spider-Man in the victory lane. I've been looking for that. We've been really strong so far in all of these Rebel series, and it's been really fun racing with these guys and everything like that. This league definitely puts on a hell of a show when we're out here and racing really hard, especially in the closing laps.
Yeah, I mean, great race from all competitors. It's really nice to see you kind of avoid those mid-pack strategies. Have you been working on your qualifying times at all during between races to try and get that better spot and maybe avoid that mid-pack carnage we've seen you involved in?
I mean, we usually qualify pretty solidly. Just tonight when we were on the out lap coming to the white flag, I got really loose off turn 4. I got back in the throttle, or went back full throttle a little bit more than I should have, and I anticipated it was going to roll through the center better, and it just didn't. I just got really loose, so that's why we started mid-pack. But we were able to slice our way up to the field and had a really good car. Definitely way tighter in the day than it is at night. Just a little less grip because of all the heat and all the rubber being put down. But overall, I thought it was really fun to slice my way up to the field.
Yeah, it looked like a blast from our point of view up in the booth, but man, great job tonight. Jason, before we let you sign off and pop that champagne, is anybody like to give a shout out to that may be watching along? Because we've seen the viewers going wild for you out there tonight, so make sure you give them some love.
Yeah, I got to thank everybody for watching. You guys are the best watching us. I got to thank iRacing for giving us this great platform to do these great things and have these races that you guys provide for us. Got to thank you guys and Team Goon Squad for putting on these great live streams. I got to thank Whole Sheet Metal for sponsoring the race. Avengers Motorsports, Josh Thompson, my teammate and cousin, family, love you, brother. I got to thank my girlfriend for always supporting me and helping me through whatever times I may be, needing some help. And I got to thank Rebels for putting on this fantastic league. Shappy Edits, Smil Racing Designs, Rowdy Energy Affiliate Program, all the great partners on board with us this season, and couldn't be happier with having them on board.
Well, always a bunch of great guys here at the original Rebel Racing League, especially the late night Rebels. And I mean, it's always a pleasure to be up here broadcasting. It's a nice change to see up here in the podium booth, my friend. I hope to see you up here more often because that was a fantastic run tonight.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us here for the Hall Sheet Metal 150 by Late Night Rebels at Auto Club. Again, we'd like to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. We know it was a late one for all of our friends and fans on the East Coast, and well done to all of our drivers for making it through tonight. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, I'm James East, and I'll see you same time, same place next week as we get ready to do it all over again here at the Late Night Rebels. Have a good night, everybody.